Hello and welcome. This part follows Luna reflecting on her extraordinary experiences as a time traveller, orchestrated by the mysterious figure named Mr. Quick. The book explores the profound psychological toil of moving between two eras, specifically highlighting Luna's transition from a hedonistic lifestyle to one grounded in religious comfort and family responsibility after surviving the rigours of the Victorian age. In this installment, Luna and her friend Sophia are tasked with travelling to 1968 London to prevent a fire and to recover a rare Bible. As an incentive, their benefactor miraculously regrows their missing limbs. A central plot point that later serves as a physical proof of their journey to skeptical family members. The story's emotional core lies in the drastic divergence of the two friends' fates, as Sophia chooses to remain in the past for love, only to reappear in the present as a dying, elderly woman whose life was ravaged by the passage of decades. Oh, this is tough stuff. Themes of socio-cultural evolution are prominent, as illustrated through Luna's observations on the grime and misogyny of the 1960s versus the relative freedoms of 2021. Ultimately, the novel serves as a meditation on the permanence of loss, the isolation of carrying unbelievable secrets, and the jarring reality of witnessing a friend's entire lifetime vanish in what felt to her like an instance. As I did previously, the next part will be put up every other day, and I hope you enjoy them. If you would like to subscribe and ring that bell, then that would be wonderful. And if you comment, I will read and reply to everybody. Good day.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are opening a file that, I'll be honest, it kept me up last night.
Oh, this one's a heavy one.
It is. We are returning to the saga of Luna, Sophia, and the absolute enigma that is Mr. Quick. We are tackling book 5 of this ongoing series.
Right.
And if you're a longtime listener, you know the drill. We've seen Victorian London, we've seen the trauma of the return, but this is different.
It really is. It's a complete tonal shift. I mean, we are trading the fog and the cobblestones of the 1870s for, what, petrol fumes and cigarette smoke of 1968.
Exactly.
But more importantly, I think we're moving from a story about survival to a story about temptation.
That is the word. Temptation. Because before we even get into the time travel mechanics or, the historical setting, I want to pose a question to you listening right now.
Right.
It's the hook of this entire book. I want you to imagine you have a profound physical disability. You have lived with it for years. It defines your daily movements, your pain levels, your self-image.
And to set the context here, we have Luna, who wears a prosthetic leg following a catastrophic car accident.
Right.
And we have Sophia, who has a withered leg due to, I think it was birth defects and the aftermath of cancer treatment. So these are lifelong defining conditions.
Right. These aren't minor inconveniences. These are defining physical realities for them. Now, imagine a man appears in your bedroom at like 3 a.m.
As he does.
As he does. He says, I can fix it. I can make you biologically whole, flesh, bone, nerve endings, all back, as if it never happened.
Wow.
But the price is that you have to leave your timeline and go to a place that is, let's just say, complicated. Do you take the deal?
That is the impossible offer. And that ethical and psychological dilemma is what we are going to unpack today.
Yeah.
We're going to look at 3 specific layers of this narrative. First, the biological reality of time travel, the toxicity of it.
Which is fascinating.
Second, the deconstruction of the swinging 60s and why nostalgia is, it's a trap. And third, the devastating, almost horror movie consequences of choosing the past over your own future.
Okay, so let's start with the present day. Or, well, 2021 in the book, Luna and Sophia have been back from their Victorian adventure for about 8 months.
Right.
And usually in these kinds of stories, the return home is the happy ending. You hug your family, roll credits. But here, the text paints a picture of a very fragile piece.
Fragile is the perfect word. Luna is technically safe,
Yeah.
but she is showing all the classic signs of PTSD. But what's so interesting is how the author grounds this trauma in sensory details. It isn't just she was sad. It's olfactory. She keeps smelling ozone.
Which she associates with the sea, right? Like a memory.
Specifically a memory of Lyme Regis, yeah.
Yeah.
But in this context, that ozone smell is the signature of Mr. Quick's technology. It's the smell of the rift opening.
Oh, wow.
So every time she catches a whiff of salty air, her sympathetic nervous system just spikes. She is anticipating an abduction. It is a somatic marker of her trauma. It's literally living in her body.
But it isn't just in her head, and this is where this deep dive really gets interesting for me, the medical side of things. Luna isn't just mentally scarred. She is physically toxic.
This is a detail I absolutely loved because it bridges the fantasy with a kind of biological realism. Luna is undergoing treatments at St. Thomas's Hospital to flush heavy metals from her blood.
And you have to think about it. She spent months in Victorian London.
Exactly.
Lead pipes, coal smoke everywhere, arsenic in the wallpaper.
All of it. Her blood work looks like she's been working in a 19th century factory. She's a walking anachronism on a cellular level.
That's incredible. And this creates a massive conflict with her father. Remember, her dad is a neurosurgeon, a man of empirical science.
Very much so. He sees these blood tests, and he simply cannot compute them. It doesn't fit into his worldview.
And this is where that family dynamic gets really dark. You would think a doctor would want to investigate a medical anomaly like this, but he shuts it down.
He blocks the publication of the case study. He actually threatens Luna's doctor. It's a fascinating reaction. It's what you call ontological shock.
Yeah.
He suspects something impossible is happening, and rather than explore it, he tries to suppress it to protect his reality.
And he's even spying on her.
Yeah. He is spying on Luna's flat from his car. He's terrified that if he pulls this thread, his whole understanding of the universe just unravels.
It is almost like he is the antagonist of the real world segments, but then we get a very modern antagonist.
Yes. Trish Green.
The investigative journalist.
She feels very 2021, doesn't she? The green hair, tattoos, iPhone, recording everything.
Totally. She ambushes Luna at the hospital, and the scary part is she has done the work. She isn't just guessing.
No, she has the receipts, as they say. She tracked down a taxi driver who saw Luna in Victorian melodrama clothes after her last jump. She knows about the strange blood tests. So when she drops that YouTube video exposing the mystery woman, it is a complete catastrophe for Luna.
Because if that goes viral,
She becomes a lab rat. She becomes property of the state or, a curiosity for the internet. Her life is over.
but then the video just vanishes,
Scrubbed. Completely gone. Wiped from the internet.
which implies Mr. Quick has a reach that extends into, what, digital infrastructure?
Or he has associates who do. It stops the immediate threat, but it reinforces this idea that Lena is never actually free. She is in a panopticon.
Right.
She's being watched by her father, watched by the internet, and watched by the time traveler. There's no privacy in her life anymore. None.
Speaking of whom, let's move to section 2. The 3:36 a.m. wake-up call, the blue light in the bedroom, Mr. Quick returns.
Of course he does.
But the text notes a shift in his behavior. He isn't the cold, robotic commander this time around.
No, and that is immediately suspicious, isn't it? He is smiling, he is chatty, he apologizes, which is unheard of.
That's a huge red flag.
A massive red flag. It is the behavior of a salesman who knows he is asking for something completely unreasonable. He needs them to go to 1968.
And the mission parameters seem odd. Prevent an electrical fire in the cellar of the Royal Crescent House. Okay, saving property, I get it.
A bit random, but okay.
But then steal a handwritten 17th century King James Bible.
The Bible is the MacGuffin. It's the object they need to retrieve. But the fire is the anchor point. July 17th, 1968. He needs them in that house at that specific time.
But Luna, she pushes back. She says no, she's done.
And you can't blame her. She is finally healthy. She has her life back. She is not interested in playing his game anymore.
And this is where he plays the ace, the impossible bargain.
Ugh, this part. He looks at Linda's prosthetic leg. He looks at Sophia's withered leg. And he just says, I can grow them back.
We have to pause on the biology of this. We are not talking about a better fit for the prosthetic. We're not talking about advanced physical therapy. He is talking about generating massive amounts of complex tissue, bone, muscle, vascular systems, nerves in an adult human from scratch.
It is regenerative medicine on a scale that creates a God-complex dynamic. I mean, it's miraculous.
And for Sophia specifically, this is just, it's overpowering. She has felt broken her entire life. She carries the trauma of her cancer and her birth defect every single time she takes a step.
So the promise of being normal, whatever that means to her, it just overrides every survival instinct she has.
It's coercion masked as a gift.
Precisely. It is not a free choice if the alternative is remaining in a state of suffering that the other person has the power to fix. It's a loaded choice.
So they agree. But the condition is strict. Both get healed or neither.
So he uses their friendship against them too. It's just layer upon layer of manipulation.
Okay, so they jump. But it isn't a zap. Section 3, the arrival. The text describes a procedure.
A twilight state. 3 weeks of missing time. Which is terrifying. Where were they? In a tank. In some kind of stasis field, we don't know.
And we may never know.
But they wake up under a tree in Green Park, London. It is May 6, 1968.
And the first thing they do is check the legs.
The description here is so visceral. Luna looks down, 2 feet. She flexes the muscles. They're weak, atrophied from non-use during the growth process, presumably.
Right, makes sense.
But they are real. The phantom limb sensation is gone because the limb's actually there. It's this moment of absolute euphoria.
Followed immediately by the realization that they look completely ridiculous.
Yes, this is such a great detail. Lena bought vintage 60s clothes online in 2021, but she bought what the algorithm told her was 60s.
Right, costume party stuff.
Exactly. Costumes. They are wearing these frumpy grandma-style dresses that don't fit the actual street fashion of 1968 at all. They get laughed at.
It cuts through the movie magic, doesn't it? You can't just cosplay history. You stick out like a sore thumb.
You really do.
But let's talk about the sensory environment of 1968, because the swinging 60s has this very specific PR image. You know, Austin Powers, bright colors, good music.
Right, the whole Carnaby Street thing.
What is the reality they land in?
The reality is lead. The air smells of unburnt hydrocarbons because catalytic converters are not a thing yet. It smells of stale tobacco because everyone smokes everywhere. In offices, on buses, in restaurants.
Oh, God, I can't even imagine.
It is gritty. It is louder in a mechanical way. The text describes an aggression in the traffic, a heaviness in the air that modern London has largely cleaned up.
And the people?
It's a mixed bag. The text notes that people seem more present because they aren't looking at screens. They engage more.
Which sounds good on paper.
But that engagement includes a lot of casual rudeness, a lot of catcalling, and a lack of personal space that Luna and Sophia find really jarring.
Okay, so they head to Park Street to meet their contact, Abigail Haverfield. Now, Abigail is wealthy. She's living the high life, but she is trapped in an engagement with a man named Alan Page.
Alan Page is the archetype of the good old days that weren't actually good. He drives a flashy Mercedes, sure, but he is a dinosaur.
He calls women birds and chicks.
It isn't just the vocabulary, it is the entitlement. He smokes cigars indoors without asking permission. He completely dismisses the women's opinions. For Luna and Sophia, who are coming from 2021, he is almost like a different species.
They have a visceral, allergic reaction to his misogyny.
Of course they do. But Abigail doesn't see it, or she didn't, until she saw it through their eyes.
Right. It's that visitor effect. Seeing your own life through the eyes of a stranger makes you realize how unacceptable it actually is.
Exactly. Abigail has normalized Alan's behavior because that was the standard for men of his class in that era. But seeing Luna and Sophia physically recoil from him makes the scales fall from her eyes. It's a wake-up call.
So now they've arrived early. It's May. The fire isn't until July. So they have what amounts to a holiday in the 60s.
Yeah, a couple of months to kill.
And this is where the narrative just deconstructs the nostalgia. They go to a free rock concert in the park. Pink Floyd is playing. Sounds like a dream ticket.
It sounds amazing on paper, but the reality is unsafe. The hippies aren't just peace-loving flower children. There is a predatory edge to the free love movement that the book really highlights.
Right.
Men feel entitled to women's bodies under the guise of liberation. It's not as free as it looks.
And this leads to a really harrowing scene. Luna gets spiked.
It is a very specific and disturbing delivery method. A man forces a kiss on her, passing a drug-likely LSD or an opium derivative directly into her mouth from his.
That's awful.
It's a violation. She starts hallucinating. She loses control over motor functions. It creates this profound sense of helplessness. And she's in a crowd, in the mud. It's a nightmare.
And then the police intervention
Is brutal. There is no de-escalation. She is manhandled, thrown in a van. She ends up in a cell with women who are half naked, painted with flowers, and completely out of their minds on drugs. It is squalid.
So much for peace and love.
It is a sharp reminder that if you were a vulnerable woman in 1968, the system was not your friend. The swinging 60s was often just a playground for men, while women dealt with the fallout. Abigail has to bribe a judge to get her out.
While Luna is experiencing the horror of the legal system, Sophia is experiencing a different kind of danger, the danger of validation.
Yes. She meets Mark Weiss.
The chauffeur, blue eyes, handsome, drives a Mercedes even if it isn't his.
And Sophia falls. Hard.
Like, immediately.
We have to look at this through the lens of her disability. She has spent her entire life feeling invisible or pitied. Suddenly she has a perfect body, and a handsome man in the 1960s wants her.
The attention is intoxicating.
The dopamine hit from that validation is more powerful than any drug. She loses all perspective. She isn't just falling for Mark. She is falling for the version of herself that Mark sees. The whole version.
She starts an affair. She moves out of this luxurious Mayfair house and into a bedsit in Camden.
And the bedsit is filthy. The book describes soot on the walls, flies, a shared bathroom down the hall. It's a complete dump.
But Sophia doesn't care.
Not at all. She is so intoxicated by the narrative of being in love in the 60s that she ignores the squalor. She is trading her dignity and her safety for the feeling of being desired.
It is a tragedy in slow motion. She is ignoring all the red flags. I mean, Mark gets fired for stealing petrol money. He is a petty thief.
But Sophia rationalizes it.
Yeah.
She's fully committed to the fantasy. She convinces herself that they are, these rebels against the system, rather than admitting she is dating a loser who got caught stealing from his employer.
It's painful to read.
It really is.
Let's jump to the heist. July 17th, Luna basically has to drag Sophia to the Royal Crescent House. Sophia is completely checked out of the mission.
The heist itself is almost the easy part. They bribe the maid, Elena, who hates her employer, so that's simple enough. They wait for the ancestors, the Huttons, to leave for their ethical society meeting.
Which is a nice, ironic touch.
A very nice touch. So Sophie goes down and cuts the power in the cellar, preventing the fire. Luna grabs the Bible from the bookcase. Mission accomplished.
But the real conflict happens on the pavement outside. The mission is over. It is time to go home.
And Sophia refuses.
Just flat out.
She plants her feet. She says, I am staying.
Luna tries to reason with her. She warns her about Mark. She warns her about the legal status of women in the 60s. You can't get a mortgage easily. You can't sign certain contracts without a man. Actual rights.
And Sophia's response is so chillingly superficial. She says, men are polite here. They open doors.
She is mistaking chivalry for rights.
Exactly. She thinks because a man opens a car door, he respects her. She doesn't understand that the same man might legally own her finances or view her as his property. She is trading substantive rights for performative politeness.
And that's it. She hands Luna a letter for her parents, gets in a taxi, and just leaves. She chooses the past.
A cold goodbye in the rain. It's heartbreaking.
Luna is left alone, completely abandoned by her best friend. But not for long. Section 6 introduces a replacement. Asim.
Asim is the counter-argument to Sophia. She is an 18-year-old servant in Abigail's house, of Egyptian heritage, born in London. And she is sharp. She has figured out Luna is from the future.
And she asks the question that just destroys Sophia's romanticized view of the past.
She asks, are brown people better off in 2021?
It is a total gut check.
And Luna has to be honest. She says, it isn't perfect, but yes, it is more modern. You have rights. Asim hates the 60s. She hates the casual racism, the servitude, the lack of opportunity.
So while Sophia sees the past as an escape,
Asim sees it as a cage. She understands that nostalgia is a privilege, and it's usually reserved for those who had power in the past. She wants out.
So when Mr. Quick arrives to pick up Luna, he makes a swap.
He accepts Sophia's choice as her destiny, which sounds incredibly ominous coming from him. But then, surprisingly, he allows Asim to travel to 2021.
Why do you think he does that?
It's a rare moment of mercy. Or maybe it's just utility. He sees potential in Asim. Or perhaps he simply respects the balance. One life stays, one life goes. It's impossible to know his motives.
So they jump back. November 28th, 2021. For the world, they have been gone for just a few hours. For Luna, it has been months.
And the first thing Luna checks, The leg.
Still there.
Still there. The bargain held. Mr. Quick didn't revoke the healing just because Sophia stayed. Luna is whole, physically.
But now we get to the part that genuinely horrified me. Section 7. The consequences. The real price.
Oh, this is tough.
Luna goes to Park Street in 2021.
She is walking near where Abigail's house used to be, and she sees a homeless woman, an old, decrepit woman.
It is Sophia.
Ugh, I need to take a second on this. Sophia stayed in 1968. That means she lived through 1969, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, day by day, year by year.
The slow path. She aged in real time while Luna skipped over it all in an instant.
And the history she lived wasn't the romance she expected. Of course it wasn't. Mark used her. He kicked her out for a better woman. She ended up destitute.
And the book says she spent decades in mental institutions.
Because she was raving about being from the future. Of course she was. The dream turned into
It is body horror of a different kind. She got the legs, but the life she used them for completely destroyed her. She is 80 years old, bent over, scarred.
And she waited 53 years just to catch a glimpse of Luna again. That's the part that just kills me.
Luna tries to help. She offers the flat back, her old life.
But Sophia refuses. The shame is too great. She just vanishes into the crowd while Luna's in the bathroom. It is the ultimate tragedy of nostalgia. She sacrificed her actual life for a fantasy that didn't exist.
She traded her place in the world for a man who didn't love her and an era that didn't want her.
Devastating.
Luna then has to do the hardest thing, visit Sophia's parents.
Imagine that conversation. Hi, your daughter didn't die, but she is not coming back. She is an old woman living on the streets of London because she chose to stay in 1968.
They wouldn't believe it. I mean, who would, except...
Luna shows them the leg, her regrown leg. It is the undeniable, impossible physical proof that her story is true.
And it forces them to accept a reality that is somehow more painful than death. If she had died, they could mourn, but knowing she is out there, old and broken.
It's a wound that won't ever close.
And finally, Luna faces her own father, the skeptic, the neurosurgeon.
She just walks in, rolls up her trouser leg, and shows him.
And he goes silent.
His entire scientific framework just collapses in that moment.
Yeah.
He has to look at his daughter and realize he understands absolutely nothing about the universe she inhabits. The silence is deafening. It is the moment the rational mind breaks against the impossible.
And this leads to the final philosophical realization of the book. Luna is talking to her sister, Blanche, and Blanche points out, Luna has the power of time travel. She could go back and save her boyfriend, Liam, who died in the car crash that took her leg in the first place.
She could undo the entire thing.
But she decides not to. Why?
Because she realizes that trauma is a structural part of identity. If she undoes the crash, she undoes the person she has become. She is who she is because of the loss, because of the struggle.
That's a huge realization.
It's everything. Sophia tried to run from her trauma by hiding in the past, and it destroyed her. Luna accepts her trauma, even with the healed leg, and chooses to move forward.
That is a powerful distinction. Acceptance versus escapism.
It is. It's the difference between healing and hiding never works.
So wrapping this up, this was a lot. What are the key takeaways for you from this deep dive?
For me, first, it's the fallacy of the good old days. The past is a different country, and for many people, women, minorities, anyone who wasn't a straight white man with some money, it's a hostile one.
Absolutely. Second,
The immutability of character. A bad man in 1968 is just a bad man. The era doesn't fix him. Mark was always a thief and a user. Sophia just didn't want to see it.
and third, I guess it'd have to be the cost of the bargain.
Without a doubt. Mr. Quick gave them what they wanted physically, but he extracted a price in time and soul. It asks us, what would you trade? Would you trade your timeline for your body?
It is a question I will be thinking about for a long, long time. Does gaining your body mean losing your soul? Sophia has her answer. Luna has hers.
And Asim, thankfully, has a new beginning.
Indeed. That is all for this deep dive. Don't get stuck in the past. It is grittier than you remember. Keep looking for it.